Good morning, 8th grade. We are jumping into lesson 2 today. So let's go ahead and see what we are going to do today. So today you're going to be introduced to our anchor text for this module, which is the Omnivore's Dilemma, and you're going to begin to analyze the author's purpose and point of view. Before we do that, let's do our entrance ticket for today, which is on page 4 in your student workbooks. The question that you're asked today is, in the previous module, you analyzed the point of view of characters in a novel. How might point of view be different in a nonfiction text? So please go ahead and work to answer this now. And then I would love for you guys to have some discussion as a class. So if your teacher will go ahead and pause the video now. All right, guys. So you should have had time to do your entrance ticket for today. So your answers will probably different, and I hope that you had some good discussion about this. You should have said something like, maybe in a nonfiction text, the perspective is from the author's point of view, and it's the author's attitude about a topic or issue. Okay, so we are shifting from fiction to nonfiction, so it's going to be a little bit different. So today, our learning target is, I can analyze the author's point of view and purpose in an excerpt from the Omnivore's Dilemma. We're going to go ahead and jump in and read section 1. And so section 1 is pages 9 to 14, I think. Wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. Scratch that. It is pages 10 to 13. Okay. So go ahead and pause the video now and read pages 10 to 13. All right, guys, now that you've had some time to read and hopefully have some discussion about this, I would love for you to go ahead and add your gist for this section to your gist trackers. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, guys, so we've done the gist. Your gist, let's see, lesson. There's some words that I'd like for you to take down in your vocabulary log. So let's go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to give you a few words and I'm going to tell you the page to go to so that you can look at it in context. And then I want you guys to look it up on your own. Okay. So the first word is omnivore. Actually, I think we defined that one last lesson. Let's scratch that one. Go to page 11, food chain. Food chain. Okay, go ahead and write that one down for me. Then I've got 3 words for you on page 12. The first is organic. Organic. The second is sustainable. Sustainable. And the last is processed food. Processed food. Okay, here they are. I'm going to ask that your teacher pause the screen and let you guys have some time to capture these in your vocab logs. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for doing that. So I've got some questions here. I'd like for you guys to think, pair, share this. So find an elbow partner. So we've got 3 questions. What food traditions does your family or culture have? I wish I was there because I would love to hear you guys talk about this. What foods do you eat often? I always love trying different foods and hearing about different foods. Secondly, what are you interested to learn more about now that you know some about the book and what it's going to be about? And what did the author say about the point of this book? So please go ahead and pause the video and let's do some think, pair, share, elbow partner talk with these questions. All right, guys. So hopefully you guys were able to have some really good talk about these questions and share a little bit about your own cultures. So now in your student workbooks, you're going to go to find this note catcher. It should be up towards the front of the book. It's called Author's Purpose and Point of View. And you are going to come back to this note catcher multiple times as we're reading this book. So it's going to help you track the author's purpose and point of view on different topics because the author is going to share so much in this book. And so we want to keep track of that. And so remember, the author's purpose is the reason the author writes something. Okay, so on this note catcher today, you are going to capture your, and it's in your student workbook. It starts on page 6 and it goes through page 19. So like I said, we're going to keep coming back to this multiple times. So today, you are looking at, I just want to make sure that I am telling you the right section that we're going to look at today. And usually it's on the slide, and today I don't know why it is not. All right, so you're going to look at this is section 1, and you're going to do pages 10 through 13, but mainly focus on page 11. And you're going to work to fill out what is the author's attitude toward the topic that you read about today, and then what evidence do you have? So what words or ideas from the excerpt helped you determine that point of view? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you this part. So this goes on the left side. So I'm going to ask that your teacher pause the video here. You guys can capture this on the point of view, and then I want you guys to work to go back and find textual evidence to do the right-hand side. So go ahead and pause the video and let's work toward that now. All right, guys. So now that you've had time to fill this in, you've got the point of view, which is right here on the left-hand side. Instead, we have dozens of different experts who give us lots of different advice about what to eat and what not to eat. And then you guys collected your own evidence over here. So now we're going to move forward. We're going to do one of our last activities of the day. So we're going to analyze point of view and purpose through a language dive. Okay. So today we're looking at this particular sentence. I decided to become a food detective to find out where our food comes from and exactly what it is we are eating. Okay. All right. So we're focusing on this word purpose. What is the author's purpose? Okay. So again, our sentence is, I decided to become a food detective to find out where our food comes from and exactly what it is we are eating. All right. Can you figure out what a detective is? What does he mean by a food detective? You guys have some discussion about that. So now I want you guys to practice this. And I don't know if you have this in your, yes, you should have a Language Dive, page 11 note catcher in your student workbooks. Okay. First thing I need you to do is sketch a food detective. So we just talked about it a little bit. What do you think a food detective is? So sketch what that looks like to you. So go ahead and pause and do that now. Now that you guys have done that, we're going to complete this sentence frame. So we're going to practice, I decided, subject plus verb plus infinitive. So I'm going to give you an example sentence. I decided to take a walk to the library. So to plus the base form of a verb equals an infinitive phrase. Okay. So to take a walk to the library. Okay. So we've created an infinitive phrase. So I want you guys to create one modeled after mine. I decided to take a walk to the library. So go ahead and pause the video and work to complete this phrase. Okay. So what does this chunk of the sentence tell us about his decision to become a food detective? So go ahead and have that discussion as a class. What does this tell us? Why did he become a food detective? All right, guys. So number 3 in your on your note catcher says to complete the sentence frame with infinitive phrases to talk about improving an essay you've written. So I'm going to give you an example as a model, and then I want you guys to fill in one of your own. I tried to improve my essay, comma, to add more linking words and phrases to connect ideas. So see, just like Michael Pollan gave us more evidence at the end of the sentence here to explain why he became a food detective, you're going to do the same. I tried to improve my essay, comma, and then you're going to add this infinitive phrase to explain how you're improving an essay. So go ahead and pause the video and let's work to do that now. All right, guys, here's a little bit more practice for you. I'll let your teacher pause the video here, and you guys can work on this as a class, as a whole. You guys can work on creating this sentence and filling it in. All right, you guys, so we're at our closing and assessment for today. You guys have done such a good job today. You've kept up. We've looked at purpose. We've looked at point of view. We've kind of figured out why Michael Pollan is doing the things that he's doing, why he wants to become a food detective. So in your student workbooks, you're going to have on page 21 and 22, I believe, you're going to have these section 1 questions. And these questions I'm going to ask that you work through independently. Okay, I'm going to ask that you work through them independently first, and then we'll come back together and we'll talk about them a little bit. So you have 3 questions. Go ahead and pause the video now and let's work to get these completed. So number 1 gives you a sentence from the text, the same sentence that we used in our language dive. And your question is, which sentence from the text best helps the reader understand the author's purpose? You guys should have said D. That's the dilemma. We can eat anything, but how do we know what to eat? Okay. Number 2 was just a free response question. So why is the omnivore's dilemma so important to the author? So your responses are going to vary on this. Everybody's probably going to have something different. You might have said something like, he thinks people are not informed about the sources of their food, and he thinks people should know how their food is produced to make better food choices. Okay. The last question says, in paragraph 1 on page 11, so it's taking us directly back to the text, what is the author's point of view on the way we get information about our food today? You guys should have said B. Food choices today are more confusing than they used to be because we don't know whom to listen to. Okay. All right, guys. So you guys did so well today. I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I'm going to let your teacher close out right here. What went well today and what could be improved next time? And I'm going to stop sharing and I'll see you guys again very soon.